I never thought I'd say this, but Boruto 2 Blue Vortex did something even Naruto Shippuden couldn't do. And the interesting part is, it's not just about power levels or fights. I basically grew up on the Naruto manga and anime. I can still remember how I was reading the whole chapter, just soaking in that incredible atmosphere that Kishimoto creates better than anyone else. So when the first part of Boruto came out, I felt pretty let down, just like a lot of other fans. But then 2 Blue Vortex dropped, and suddenly Boruto stopped being just Naruto's kid. He's turned into the most complex and interesting character in the entire franchise. Right now, the whole world views him as an Akatsuki-level threat, and believes he's responsible for Naruto's sudden absence. He's misunderstood and blamed for things he never even did. And what hurts the most is that even his own sister doesn't remember who he really is anymore. This is where the story finally started feeling truly grown up. It's no longer just a story about a boy who wants everyone in the village to like him. It's the story of a man whose very identity has been literally reshaped in the shinobi world, yet he keeps moving forward anyway. And that's exactly why, as controversial as it might sound, modern Boruto has become a more interesting protagonist to me than Naruto was. Let me explain why. Let's start with the hard truths. Naruto is a legendary hero, and I truly love him. But his journey was a story of overcompensation. He had poor chakra control, so he created a technique where control wasn't the main focus. We were told pretty directly that he had low natural talent and the worst chakra control in his academy class. That worked perfectly for its era, but 2 Blue Vortex is trying to tell a completely different kind of story. The Boruto story has evolved, and this is very important. In this second part, Boruto has finally become something entirely unique. Just look at the Rasengan Uzuhiko. This isn't just a standard upgrade to his dad's signature move. It uses the actual rotation of the planet as an energy source. Naruto added wind to the Rasengan. Boruto integrated the orbital mechanics of a celestial body. It feels more like Shinjutsu than regular ninjutsu. It's an ability that takes the character beyond traditional shinobi limits and onto a planetary scale. His mindset is also what really sets him apart. In a fight, Boruto is a sharp, tactical analyst. He looks at an opponent and sees patterns, vulnerabilities, and openings. He combines the best traits of both Naruto and Sasuke, but he still maintains his own distinct personality. The story is gaining the kind of depth that Naruto only hinted at through characters like Itachi. Ida's omnipotence rewrote the memories of all of humanity. Even under those conditions, our protagonist keeps protecting Konoha, not because he's loved or recognized, but because it's the right thing to do, and his friends and family are there. That line, "I'm still a ninja," which he said in the very first chapter and episode, isn't just a shout into the void. It's a declaration of an identity that doesn't need anyone else's approval or acceptance. Naruto's motivation was always focused outward. You constantly heard the thought, "I want to be acknowledged." That was honest, and it really resonated with the audience. But in the Boruto manga, the motivation is now internal, and that's a different kind of heroism. It's more mature, more complex, and honestly, it feels a bit more grounded because there are no easy answers or clear-cut, black and white situations. Everything is complicated, and he has to adapt fast. It reminds me of another Kishimoto character, except this time, it's not Itachi playing that role, it's the main character Boruto. Now let's talk about the antagonists. The tree beings, known as the Shinju, are a huge conceptual leap for the franchise. They were created from captured shinobi like Sasuke, Bug, Gaara's son, and others. They keep the memories, personalities, and even some of the feelings of the originals. They bring up these deep questions. What even is an identity if it can be copied? What is love if you remember it, but you're no longer the person who felt it? This is a level of writing that Boruto Part 1 never even touched. However, I'm not going to pretend everything is perfect, because 2 Blue Vortex does have 2 real flaws. The first is the disappearance of side characters. In the original Naruto, even Rock Lee, who literally couldn't use ninjutsu, got his own arc and moment of glory. The same goes for Neji, Shikamaru, Gaara, and so many others. They all contributed something meaningful. In 2 Blue Vortex, Kakashi has been absent from the story so far. Same with Orochimaru, Tsunade, and even the Anbu Foundation. When the fate of the world depends on only a small group of shinobi, the focus naturally shifts away from the broader village and more toward a smaller circle of characters. It changes the overall feeling of the story. To me, it sometimes feels a bit limiting that the larger world isn't involved as much in the current events. The second downside is the power creep escalation. Ida's omnipotence, Shinjutsu, and Shibai Otsutsuki, every new ability raises the ceiling of the world's power scale. It makes sense that the threats have to grow, but at times it feels like the story is constantly expanding its rules and lore to keep up with itself. Sometimes it feels like the system is being stretched rather than naturally developed. But you know what's most interesting? Despite those issues, I still believe Boruto is at its most important turning point in the history of the franchise right now. If 2 Blue Vortex gets a high-quality anime adaptation, many of the manga's weaker points could be polished up or reinterpreted in a way that makes them work better. And this is where things could really change. The 2 Blue Vortex anime has the potential to be a turning point, not just for the franchise, but for the genre as a whole. I truly believe this anime has a chance to become something special. Studio Pierrot is officially moving to a seasonal production format. We've already seen how well that worked for Bleach, which fans waited years for. From what I've heard from official sources, voice recording is already underway. Junko Takeuchi confirmed she was involved in recording back in 2025. The anniversary windows in 2026 and 2027 create the perfect marketing moment, especially since May 10th will be the anniversary of Boruto's story. It would be so cool if they announced the second season on May 10th. By the way, don't forget to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss the videos I'll be making with all the latest news and info. I think it depends on the episode count. If they do 20 or 30 episodes, it's very likely we'll see that same level of quality, or maybe even higher. You know what strikes me most about 2 Blue Vortex? It's a story about how hard it is to stay true to yourself when everyone around you is convinced you're someone else. It's not just about a guy wanting to be Hokage anymore. It's about a shinobi whose very self has been challenged and reshaped by forces beyond his control. That's where the true maturity of this manga lies. Boruto has stepped out of his father's shadow, not because he beat him in some power ranking, but because he has his own story, with its own stakes, its own philosophy, and its own brand of heroism. Now, I want to hear from you. Are you reading 2 Blue Vortex yet? Do you agree that Boruto has outgrown his father? Or will Naruto always be the GOAT for you? Let me know what you think in the comments. I'd love to read your thoughts.